Happiness through curiosity on the Ranveer Show.
What has happened is in the last 30, 40 years, because of the internet and the easy access to information, very esoteric ideas of Tantra are already out in the public. Okay, so what, not only out in the public, but there are people sitting in various universities across the world. They're doing research and all that. Some once in a while, if I read those papers, I like the fact that they bring out old and rare manuscripts, translate them. I don't agree with their conclusions though. I find there is a strong Western bias in whatever they look at. Western bias. So there is an Indian way of looking at it. There's an Upasaka's way of looking at it. So they are not looking at the Upasaka's way. So their rendition of the slokas and everything is correct. The final conclusion is incorrect.
For example?
Some text I was reading on Tantra by some Western scholar. Leave the name aside. Let's just say Western scholar. So he had very well written essay, very, very robust with lot of examples and slokas and this and that. And then he keeps a line, enters that. So Tantra was more like a kind of a revolutionary path that was against the mainstream Brahminism, and it wanted to kind of, strike back at the Brahminical ideas, things like that. I disagree with this conclusion. So it is true that the mainstream, first of all, the term Brahminism is highly politically loaded. Let's avoid that. Let's say mainstream Sanatan Dharma, Vedic religion. The Vedic religions, Paddhatis and Tantra Paddhatis are different. I agree to that. Kaula Tantras are definitely different. Then there is not just different, it's like either you're here or you're there. If you try to walk both the paths, eventually you'll fall at one point, or you'll never progress. Your mind has to be schizophrenic eventually. Because these, to give an example, in the Kaula Paddhati, we use ritually sanctified alcohol. But in the mainstream Vedic religion, alcohol is strictly banned. If you take even a drop, you have to do prayaschitta. That's as strict as that. Meat is still okay. Fish is still okay. But alcohol, no. Nobody. And the higher the Varna, which is a Brahmin taking alcohol, is even greater sin. They're very clear about it. So whereas Tantra, if you go to the Kolo mark, you not only have to offer it to the deities, okay, with mantras and all that specifically, not just randomly. But even then, it did not start as a revolt and a revolution or as a social work project or some kind of a social revolution. No. Why? That is because they're saying when you're doing the mantra sadhana, say of Mahakali, you're doing sadhana, you're doing japa, etc., etc. At the end of the day, at the last step, you'll have to do Brahmin Bhojan, which means you have to feed Brahmins. So if they're against Brahmins or if they're against somebody, why would they tell you to feed Brahmins at the end? The reason is Tantra did not start as some kind of social work. That is the bias that people carry sometimes, many scholars from the West. So because of what, everybody has their own biases, by the way. It's human to have biases. You've grown up in an environment, it'll always be there. Which makes me slightly skeptical, not fully, but slightly skeptical of anybody who has taken to Hinduism after the age of 18. Because there are certain inherent biases that will be there. It's not that easy to remove all those things. It will always pop up here or there or somewhere. It's human and it's natural. Let's put it that way. Okay.
Understood.
The ideas of dharma were very tuned towards people who were born and brought up in this land. That is why there were some ideas initially, some great masters and acharyas like Karpatri Maharaj and all used to believe that you should not even step out of India. The moment you step out of India, either you lose your dharma or you have to do prayaschitta or something.
Is there meat behind that thought?
Which? What?
That if you step out of India, it will affect your sense of dharma?
No, certain practices, if you're doing it, it's better not to step out.
Why?
That's because the environment is very difficult outside. Those cannot be done on those areas. It's like, in a way, for dharma, what we call as dharma, India is like the soul. If the whole earth is a body, then India is the soul. The highest cream, most sophisticated dharma is in India. And I say it with full consciousness. I have, within my capacity, studied other religions, both that are existent and some that are not there. But there is not one thing that is there anywhere which is already not included in the whole gamut of the Hindu thought. Everything has been there. It's that sophisticated, and it's possible because there's something in the geography of this land.
I mean, also keeping actual human history in mind, we did a fantastic episode with Nilesh Oak,
Right.
where we spoke about the geography of India since ancient times,
Right.
since the time of the ice ages.
Hmm.
And I can't expand too much on this Nilesh Oak angle. And I highly recommend everyone go watch that episode if you haven't already. But effectively, the stretch from Indonesia to Syria was the ancient land that we call Bharat. So when we're talking about the Mahabharat war, it was people from this entire stretch who had participated.
Okay.
The thing is, the religion, the so-called faith that was practiced in that stretch was very similar to what is practiced only in India today.
Right.
But that whole stretch,
Right. That makes
practiced
sense to me.
this set of classical religions.
Correct.
If you talk to someone who's Zoroastrian,
Hmm.
Zoroastrianism is kind of the sister religion of Sanatan Dharma.
Hmm.
But I feel modern day Hinduism, that what we follow, and modern day Zoroastrianism has originated from some common ancestor
Hmm.
religion.
Hmm.
The thoughts are the same, the emotions are the same. That's a whole Nilesh Oak style conversation. But my point is that humans have habited this land of the subcontinent for very long.
Correct.
Therefore, obviously, they've built out a more intricate version of the path to spiritual growth.
Perfect. And that is what Sri Aurobindo used to also say. India is like the soul.
Because, when you say this sentence on a surface level, a lot of people will hear the sentence and process it as non-secular.
Hmm.
But I don't think that's where you're coming from at all. I think what you're trying to say is what I just said. Which is, this land is too ancient.
Too ancient. And that's what all the streams are present here. All the streams are present here. If you have if you're honest and if you're objective, you'll see that there is some bit of everything inside here. And in spite of that, there is a certain fundamental religious harmony between the different paths in Dharma. Yes, intellectually there will be debates. That is all right. The Siddhanta part, the conclusion, okay, I am a Shakta. I believe that nobody is greater than Adi Shakti. A Vaishnava will disagree. He will say that no, Vishnu is the greatest. In terms of arguments, that's all right. But at the end of the day, there is still a lot of continuum, lot of parallel in the way, for example, see, this is so brilliant. I was thinking one day, the Tantras reimagine the great rishis gods. So what we are doing in the Tantra is not that we are worshipping some deity who is outside of the realm. No, we are worshipping Shiva, we are worshipping Shakti. We are also, there are Vishnu related Tantras, there are Ganpati related Tantras, everything related Tantras are there. So it is the same set of deities. We revere the same rishis to the extent that it is believed, for example, in the Tantras, that there are two streams of thought. One says that Lord Rama was initiated into a Tara mantra by Rishi Vasishtha, and that Bharata, who was Lord Rama's brother, was initiated into the worship of Gujja Kali, one rare form of Mahakali, the rarest form of Kali. Okay, whether it's not there in the Mahabharata, in the Ramayana. That's okay. But the point is that you reimagine this, you revere these figures. So we are Shaktas doesn't mean that we don't revere Rama or he's a Vaishnava or Shiva is a Shaiva. No. We worship all the deities, we worship all the rishis. Vishwamitra, we believe, for example, that Dattatreya Bhagavan had absolute mastery over Baglamukhi Vidyas, one of the Mahavidyas. So with that, he has the power to control anything in any realm. This maybe a reimagination, but say spiritually useful reimagination. It helps the sadhak. It helps the whole sampradayas. It has got so much Shakti that generation after generation we believe this story, and that helps us to attain success in our sadhana.
Hey, if you enjoyed this clip from The Ranveer Show, we've uploaded a ton of other clips related to a ton of other topics. So explore the channel because there's something for everyone.